try this, Wednesday.
How long is it?
So we'll try this, Wednesday.
You can make a joke about it. Like, I promise it's nice. You should talk about the winter. Yeah. Okay, wait, so for the question, so there are like applications really
I wish that was the case. Unfortunately, we canceled a reservation call.
like one of the questions is tell us anything about yourself, what you do in your
Thank you.
Did I ask you that?
See you again. I know. Sorry.
What did you say?
No, it became the last night. So, pointed out,
Yeah.
Of course.
So I said, or so how do you feel about that? So you're saying so.
right. They said that's what that's six.
The sinkhole, right? It's right out here on the right.
So they said that guy's great because.
But yeah, no. Otherwise, it's gonna be a good deal.
Yeah, so it's you'll get a new
You gotta do it. Yeah, you just go.
never get back home.
No, exactly. And just this will be my third.
So the other one was for the budget, right? I'm Charles. Huh?
You know this guy?
We know this guy as well. He's a good guy.
It's Kermit, I just like the frog.
This is Charles Benson.
I had it first, and then
Hey, do it. Work Meredith.
I come out from Southern Missouri, do some work over there.
We're in
We're doing
the station.
Yeah.
We're all good. We're good again.
MIC, baby.
So, I don't know if it'll-
Anybody from the city's all right with
Briefings this week.
MIC?
Shit, all right, we can do it. All right.
Anybody from the city?
Ron, you know Missouri State is not quiet. Both not gonna keep
No,
quiet.
you can't be quiet.
It's quiet. Yeah, I know they're right.
He said, Missouri State. My wife's family is from Millersburg.
You gotta do it now, or you can kick.
Little Dixie Lake area.
That's home, I mean, that's
Yeah, you're right.
Get out there.
Channel 13 CBS.
I know.
You know where our tower is?
I know exactly. I worked at Manhattan, Missouri, Channel 3. Way out there in the south of town.
Thanks for applying.
Where do you
We got a new guy.
It's outside.
I just went to their, this is White House.
It's better than the outside.
Best side of that
It's,
side.
right,
Yeah.
this goes there.
I think that's the camel there.
Do you think ours then?
Here's why I said.
That's right. I emailed the address I applied and emailed the last time.
Yeah, I heard that.
One of the Isle Nation today, you know?
Where do you want to go?
Right, but I'm hoping you can say,
Our Prime Minister can help you out with anything you need.
and then you kind of like saw it. Yeah, remember you push hard at that there. Yeah.
Always.
Something different than what we got on.
This city different than any other.
Exactly, except now.
Back to the side.
You're gonna see, we'll see.
Nobody's taking.
They were Ricardo. We were like way in the back. Unless you know something, I don't know how they hang out here.
But it depends on what you change.
Sweetheart, I took care of you. Martha, you know I got you.
Thank you very much. See you in a few.
And you're in deep, right?
This was the restroom there.
Yes. Back there near the cafeteria. We got a new guy, his name is
Yes, yeah, oh yeah.
I think he was asked to spell it. Oh, that's not one of their nine. I can hear yeah. These guys aren't scripts, right? You do that, Mary. We're not.
Oh, absolutely.
Very nice. Just want you to understand. Bring it back when you get solid training right now.
Do what with it? Take it off?
Take it off and get it off. And you're not using the hammer, right?
Thank you for that.
So, but, I mean, I'm not gonna be.
I'll give you a well, and if that's the case, that's great. Then I have no problem. But with other NBC girls,
I don't know that either. But she's absolutely right. Because I'll be like on the question and all of a sudden I'll have this the black part will come in and block my screen. It's not for you.
I can go down a little bit. We'll do the phone. We understand. Knock it down.
Wait, it starts at 3 minutes. Don't be like, so you're good.
I'll see you.
I'm always. What number am I?
So you said it's
No, I think that'll be fine. Okay, I'll
okay, I think I had that. Send me that.
Sounds good, thanks, guys.
Hey, what's up? I have a couple seconds here before we
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Where's the orange? That's likely not to be a Democrat government.
How many times are you gonna watch that, Mary? 50?
Anytime.
So Mary likes cat videos. That's okay.
Well, you know what they say, that if somebody came back from the 50s, 1950s, and they got to here, and you asked them what was the surprise to them, they would say that every person had a device in their phone that could access all knowledge ever known to human beings. And all they did was look at captions, right?
So wait, you're telling me that basically every bit of knowledge on that device, and what do you do with it? Oh, just wait till this whole series about one week. I watch every day. 3 to 4 times a day. Down the driveway, down 2 blocks to 7-Eleven. Scratch. Oh, well, that's the farm there. That's the old farmhouse. The guy that owns it passes away. Billions of dollars. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to have to pay the house. It's like right now it's like a huge backyard. The neighbors are sitting on probably 5 acres. I mean, where's mine? 30 acres. I can imagine what all that's going to be. They just got that house at nice. It's just a house.
Can you, Rodney asked me to help me put this set up there? He's standing by it for 60 camera. We just need to clamp it on it. I can grab it, I think it's Doug Mills, but you might be able to do it. I mean, I'm almost all of that. If you want, I have a tall stool behind the ABC chair. Tony, if you need it, there's a tall stool behind the ABC chair. The tall stool behind the at the rack. But it looks like he's going for a ladder. Right, just pop up for a second.
I'll go a second.
Let me just make sure it's good to connect.
I need to put this there here.
Yeah, because it could be 45 minutes late. I'm sorry, Terry.
Can you change light bulbs too, sir? Again, y'all got me mistaken for a handyman. Yeah, what channel is that? Channel 5? City and the Sea. So every City and the Seas. That's how old men get hurt on ladders. Climb ladders up the stairs.
Hey, Charlie, I'm proposing a vision.
You good? What's that?
I'm proposing a vision.
Yes, I am. Where's the lease? Oh, is it good? You good?
I'm 1-2, 1-2. Got anything back there? Good.
Oh, 90 degrees?
Yeah, you see how it's, I like turning the side, it says a lot.
Right. Just the whole unit.
They can now spend money on it.
So what you're telling me about
The only thing I can do with the phone is,
You don't even have to twist anything around your body, just twist the whole thing, from the bottom. So twist the camera, there you go.
yeah, right.
There you go. You can do it's all socks. It's uneven?
Isn't it pointing this way?
it's going both.
Oh, it does both ways?
Yeah, 360.
So what you're telling me is that I can pick my nose or something?
Don't pick your nose.
What do you want there?
They've got a
They can fix it.
Well, they've been there a week. You know,
Little up, little up, little down, little down. Left to right.
Everyone come?
So we're constantly.
I'll sign off on that. You got to change that? Remember that one?
Can you see it on the phone?
So I got a quick preview of the picture I took, but it won't let me in unless I'm done. They only gave us the cheap model, they didn't give us
Let's go.
the.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Outstanding. Good man.
I'm sure we'll do it.
Somebody's wearing a hat. Like that. How about, did you see the milestones last week?
Thank you, thank you. Come back.
Would you like some gum?
Or I need some.
Anyway, I'm on my way to second shift, right? And I'm so far from my second shift, like it's not even far over this.
It's been so long, people need news. They're hungry for the I did before I put it
Hey, got you out there.
Try the upper deck.
What are you doing?
they're all the same. So if it's like,
Excuse me, you can't sit there. You can't sit there.
That's a sign.
Yes, I did. See her.
The president moved, brought a small group of reporters, not everybody, but reporters representing the press corps in, and spoke about what he has described as this controversy. He said an important word, he said the word if this actually happened, there would be a major scandal, and I'm paraphrasing it. Here's a little bit of what he had to say.
I'm glad.
Good afternoon to you. When we were in the Oval Office last week on the way out, President Trump said to me, what do you think about it? Good afternoon to you. When we were in the Oval Office last week. Now, the president has said in the past that maybe it will happen, maybe it won't, but he seems to go further down the road today of saying that this thing may not happen, or may not.
We're saying 99.9% chance of this thing moving on. I would certainly not be optimistic based on
In fact, yesterday he called me, I think, in a snap meeting with Mark Rosenstein, Deputy Attorney General, and Chris Wray, the FBI Director, to tell them, point blank, listen, you are going to provide congressional investigators with the documents that they want in terms of what led up to the Pfizer request to start surveilling members of the president's campaign. He instructed Chief of Staff John Kelly to get together with the DOJ, the FBI, the Director of National Intelligence, and congressional investigators like Trey Gowdy and Devin Nunes, and give them everything that they want. The president also very strong today about the idea that there was an FBI informant who was trying to infiltrate his campaign. Listen here. Sources that I've talked to this morning don't have high hopes for a meeting with the DOJ, the FBI, and the DNI documents out, they can say, this just might be another way for the DOJ to stonewall.
John, were you talking about vehicle stuff? No, we're, Fortune 7 used to be right at, Emerald, Connecticut's, you know, the car wash and Burger King. Yeah, on the other side. It's really 17 real estate value.
Look at you, they were like 6 minutes. Why are they trying to move the trailer park out? Yeah, so
Well, my trailer's been, it's almost ready for historic preservation.
take the wheels off and shit.
My cousin couldn't come over and he passed years ago, and I said, well, leave it on. It was good. I don't want to pay him.
You're child that skirts.
The problem is, you know, start getting rats and snakes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, you can always sell them.
Rats and snakes?
Hi, how are you? I'm standing here by myself in front of the room. Live on. Firewall right on first. And now I'm gonna have pregnancy break.
Just think of all the people at home.
That doesn't bother me, actually. I don't care about that. I always look alive on you.
She seemed really, really nice.
We'll talk about this.
Yeah. You get two, number one, Yeah, we could give somebody there all the time.
Yeah, a little less stress on you.
So we have to go there, get a babysitter kind of thing. Yeah. It's just really good.
Yeah, they're fun. It's good. Right? We were right down in front. Is that West Point? West Point. Yeah, that's what. And I have one. I think I do. Get out there on a sunny day, it's like, at the third hour, you're
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. As you know, the President has just concluded a productive meeting with South Korean President Moon. This is the 6th visit between them. The two leaders had significant conversations on important issues, including the scheduled U.S.-North Korea summit. Both leaders are committed to working together to accomplish the common goal of complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. As you also know, it's commencement season, and the President and First Lady would like to extend a special congratulations to World War II veteran Bob Barger. 68 years since he last sat in a classroom, Bob graduated from the University of Toledo. This month, after a review of his transcripts from the late 1940s, showed he completed enough courses to qualify for an associate's degree. As the President said in his letter to Bob, his hard work, diligence, and passion to learn exemplify the greatest generation's commitment to excellence and the American spirit. As you know, the President took a number of questions earlier, so we'll keep this short today, and with that, I'll get started. Jonathan.
Sarah, do you agree with do you agree with the South Korean official who said that there would be a 99% chance that this summit with Kim Jong-un comes off? And how will the President ultimately make the decision about whether or not to go?
The President addressed this earlier directly to you and said that we'll see what happens. We continue to prepare for the summit, and if they want to meet, we will certainly be ready. And the President, I think, rightly stated that if North Korea agrees to denuclearize, that it can be a bright future for them. But we remain clear-eyed in these negotiations, but we continue to prepare, and we'll see what happens.
What preconditions, though, does he have? What does he see that the North Koreans have to do to make that trip? And let me just ask you, I know the challenge coins were made. Was it premature to make those coins commemorating the summit?
So on the first part of your question, the President's laid out what he wants to see as a commitment to denuclearization. That has not changed. In terms of the coins, this is not something that the White House has anything to do with. We don't have any input on the design, the manufacture, the process in any capacity. This is a standard procedure by the White House Communications Agency, which is made up exclusively of career military officials, and these coins are designed and done by that organization. Pamela?
Thank you, Sarah. Why would the U.S. guarantee the safety of a dictator whose regime is a serial human rights abuser and is responsible for the recent death of an American college student? Why is that the morally right thing to do?
Again, the goal and the purpose of these conversations would be to have complete and total denuclearization of the peninsula, and the President has been upfront about that part of the conversation, and we're going to continue to move forward.
Just to follow up,
Major,
Sarah, really quickly.
Sorry, I'm going to keep moving just because we're going to be really short today. Major, go ahead.
Sarah, you talked about preparations for the summit. Can you describe for us how the President himself is personally preparing? Who is he working with? How much time does he devote on a daily basis to get ready for the underlying themes, questions, and difficulties of a summit of this magnitude?
As you all know, he spent a significant amount of time meeting both in person and having regular phone conversations with other world leaders like you saw today with South Korean President Moon, as well as he has constant and regular meetings with his national security team. This is something they talk about on a daily basis and will continue to in preparation. Jordan?
Thanks, Sarah. I want to ask about this meeting the Chief of Staff is setting up for lawmakers regarding the documents that they've requested about the Russian investigation. Can you say what specific documents the lawmakers will be allowed to see? Chairman Nunes has requested all documents related to this intelligence source. Will he get to see all of the documents?
That's something that you would have to ask the Department of Justice. I can tell you the president asked Chief of Staff Kelly to set up the meeting. It is scheduled to take place on Thursday of this week. The individuals that are expected to attend are Chairman Nunes, Chairman Gowdy, FBI Director Wray, DNI Director Coates, and DOJ official Ed O'Callahan. No one from the White House staff will attend. Blake?
The North Koreans are bringing in some journalists to view what they say is the dismantling of a nuclear test site. Curious if the administration believes that site is already damaged, as some are led to believe, and what exactly the administration's response is to this.
I don't have anything that I can comment on that at this front. Stephen? Steve?
Yes, Sarah, can you tell us what was the outcome of the discussions between the South Korean president and President Trump today about the size and cost of U.S. troops in South Korea?
The focus, at least in the meeting that I was in, that specifically did not come up, but certainly conversations primarily centered around preparations towards the scheduled summit. Darlene?
You said that no one from the White House staff will attend the meeting on Thursday. Does that not mean that the Chief of Staff, Kelly, would not attend?
He was charged with coordinating and making sure it took place, but at this point is not expected to attend. Michael?
Can you respond a little bit, though, to why no Democrats would be at that meeting? If the White House is putting its imprimatur on it, the Democrats have said that they think it's inappropriate to have a meeting set up with just Republicans in the Justice Department. Is the White House, would the White House welcome Democrats to be at that meeting?
We'll keep you posted. My understanding is they haven't been the ones requesting this information.
They say that to the extent that the White House is sort of brokering a deal between the Justice Department and
I hardly call brokering a deal to help coordinate a meeting and help Congress receive information that they've requested. To my knowledge, the Democrats have not requested that information, so I would refer you back to them on why they would consider themselves randomly invited to see something they've never asked to. Jeff?
Sarah, the president spoke at length this morning about his vision for a solution to dealing with Chinese company ZTE. Both Republicans and Democrats on the Hill are. Senator Schumer, I believe, called it a wet noodle solution. What's the White House's response to that criticism?
The U.S. and China relationship has a number of issues that we're constantly having conversations. National security, trade, ZTE is among one of those. And this is something that the president has asked Commerce to look into, and he's outlined some possible actions against ZTE by Commerce. But at this point, they're still in discussion, and there's nothing else to add beyond what the president already said this morning.
To their criticism, though, about what he has said on Capitol Hill?
Like I've said a few times before, Senator Schumer is not somebody this White House is probably ever going to take advice from on how to negotiate or get a good deal on anything, particularly based on his track record. And certainly, I think his weakness when it comes to China. We finally have a president who's actually calling out China on their unfair trade practices, and not just calling them out, but actually doing something about it and aggressively pushing forward in negotiations, something that we haven't seen in decades. And so Senator Schumer is probably the last person we would call and ask for on how to make a deal. Anita?
I wanted to change topics. I wanted to get your comment on this incident that happened at the EPA earlier today. They were having a national summit on water contaminants. At least 2 reporters were barred from going into the event, and 1 was forcibly removed. I wondered if you had a comment. Do you approve of how that was handled, and will anyone be speaking to the press office over there about it?
Certainly we'll look into the matter. I've seen the reports. I know EPA has put out a statement. At this point, I would refer you to them as we look into the incident. I don't have a lot of visibility since certainly we weren't there and we're in other meetings here, but something we are certainly going to look into. But at this point, I'd refer you to the statement the EPA put out. I can't speak to a situation that I don't have a lot of visibility into, but I would refer you back to their statement. Stephen?
Sorry, back on North Korea just for a second. The president of the Oval Office said that he was disappointed that after his second meeting with Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un seemed to have a change of attitude. Does the White House have any theories as to why that might be? Is China a spoiler, and why?
The president spoke to this directly. There's nothing else to add at this point. Mike?
Can you add anything more about the president's comments? He said that China, South Korea, and Japan were willing to invest very large sums of money into North Korea. Can you add anything more to that? Is the U.S. planning to add to that very large sum? Can you describe what kind of money he's talking about there?
I don't have anything to add beyond the president's comments. I think
Can you talk at all about what President Moon said about Kim, about the new tenor coming out of Pyongyang, what President Trump learned in the meeting with President Moon?
we felt like the conversations today were productive, and again, we're going to continue in preparations, and we'll see what happens. Hallie?
Sarah, to follow up on Anita, and then a question as well to you, is there any situation, barring a security incident, in which you feel the White House feels it is appropriate to physically touch or physically handle a
I'm not going to
reporter
weigh
and-
into random hypotheticals that may or may not exist. I don't know any information about this specific incident. You're asking me to, no, you're asking me to speak to a blanket possibilities, which I'm not going to do, nor would I ever ask or expect you to do. John?
My other question was actually on the
Sorry, I'm
the
going to do
DOJ
one
demand.
question at a time today because we got short on time. John, go ahead. Sorry, John, go ahead.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yep, sorry, I'm going to keep moving. We're tight
There's
on
been
time. Thanks.
considerable discussion back and forth about the tenure of Speaker Ryan, whether he will relinquish his gavel early and have a new election of a speaker before the elections. Conservative lawmakers on Capitol Hill made it clear that they want Ryan to stay. Congressman Warren Davidson said that's unfair to the new members coming in. And he also said that there should be a discharge position so members can have an up and down vote on repeal of the Affordable Care Act and immigration. Does the president agree with the statements of Congressman Davidson and the conservatives among House Republicans?
I haven't spoken with him specifically about that statement, so I wouldn't want to wage into that right now. John?
Thanks a lot, Sarah. The president earlier today in that press availability spoke about the protections that he's prepared to offer to Kim Jong-un, not only personally but also for his country. In preparing for these meetings and when the summit actually takes place, does human rights play any consideration in the meeting that the president will have with Kim Jong-un?
I'm not going to get ahead of the discussion that the president and Kim Jong-un could have, but certainly we would expect that would come up and be addressed. Charlie?
Following up on John's earlier question, does the president back Speaker Ryan's decision to stay in office until after the election, or is he concerned that there's maybe a period of time when he's not getting as much done as he could, serving as a lame duck speaker?
Yeah, at this point, that's something for Speaker Ryan and members of Congress to make that determination, not something that the White House has weighed into at this point. Francesca?
Thank you, Sarah. We heard from President Trump before that meeting with President Moon, but after sitting down with him, does President Trump feel more like this summit is worth having and that it will happen? And what is the White House's drop-dead date, so to speak, for deciding whether or not to go to the summit?
Again, we're going to continue to prepare, and we'll see what happens. There's really nothing to add beyond that at this point. We'll take one last question. Ben?
Thank you, Sarah. I wanted to ask about Gaza. The violence continued today. Does the White House have any plans to meet with the Palestinian Authority?
There are no scheduled meetings at this point, but if something changes, we'll certainly let you guys know. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
All right, folks, thank you very much for joining us and choosing us as your stream of choice. You guys heard that the president was speaking this morning. It was at a meeting with South Korean President Moon, and they were having a discussion regarding North Korea. That's going to be uploaded in just a few minutes. It was not live streamed. They did not allow live streaming at that event. So we're going to be uploading it in just a few minutes. So stay tuned here at Golden State Times. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel and you guys smack the like button. Thank you so much for the moderators coming out, keeping the chat clean and enjoyable for everyone. Also, thank you those that use Super Chat to support the channel. You guys are amazing. There's a few ways to support the channel. One way is Super Chat. Another way is PayPal. The link's in the description below. But the best way is by sharing this live stream on social media, making sure that you guys smack the like button, making sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, you guys click the notification bell. That gives us a greater reach, and it helps out the channel immensely. So thank you so much to everyone that did that for the live stream. You guys shared it on social media, Facebook, Gab, Twitter. You guys send it through email and text message. There's tons of ways of doing it, so thank you so much for all of your support. Again, we're going to be uploading the meeting that President Trump had with President Moon, where he answered quite a few questions regarding North Korea, regarding the Russia investigation and spies in the campaign and all that crazy stuff that is coming out. Just today, another news broke that there might be a second spy that was in the Trump campaign. Some people are calling them spies. Other people are saying that it was just an informant, which is basically the same exact thing. But, you know, who knows? This is just starting to snowball, and Mueller investigation is looking more and more like it's going to end. It's going to end soon. So stay tuned here at Golden State Times, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.